Welcome to We. The 98ers. It is Shooter. I've got the stash. We got Thomas Schooley, and we got a very special guest. Rays fan Gio. Super fan Rays fan Gio has joined us on the show today. We'll start with you, Gio. What'd you think of tonight's big win in Game 2?
I am so fired up, guys. What a great win. Blake Snell, we pick on him a lot. We tell him that he nibbles a lot. He came out, almost gave us five innings of no-hit ball. Fell apart a little bit at the end. Mammoth home run by Brandon Lau to start the game. Big RBIs by Joey Wendell. Another bomb by Lau, who all of us have said that we want to bench and blah, blah, blah. Kevin Cash is way smarter than us. That's why he's making the big bucks managing, and we're just cheering. But just a great answer for the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm excited. We got Charlie freaking Morton on the mound tomorrow. Got him in Game 7. So can we win both of those games and then one more game, either games 4, 5, or 6? We are in the series now, guys, and a lot of people didn't give us a lot of credit. Everybody thought it was going to be a quick series, but once again, the Rays respond and get a huge win.
100%. And I started off the show with some comments on here. Yes, these are real comments from real fans after Game 1. Last now, terrible pitcher. Facts. Hashtag facts. I got one more. I mean, I could have grabbed more of these, but these I just kind of ran into. By the way, from the Tampa Bay Rays fan club, and then also from the official Tampa Bay's fan club. I'm super upset. I can't believe we're going to lose the World Series. Guys, it was one game. So hopefully some fans are off the ledge after the big win. I kind of felt like we kind of took the role of the Dodgers. We looked like the team that had that heavy payroll tonight, kind of flipped the role on them. What do you think, Stash?
I mean, this is the kind of game we needed to see from us. Not only did Snell come in and do what he had to do and attack this lineup, we saw some actual just regular hitting out there. You know what I mean? Just hitting for base hits, hitting for contact, making regular baseball plays on the pads. And, you know, I mean, I like to see a Rosarena. He kind of didn't get a lot to hit, but even there at the end, he legged out an infield hit. And that's the kind of thing that he was getting early on in the postseason. That's where his average was coming from. It wasn't because he was up there hitting home runs 3 at bats a game. It's because he was finding ways to get on the base pads different ways. He was hitting different pitches, hitting at different places of the park. So not only did Lau come through with 2 big hits, but you saw Rosarena even late put the pressure on him by getting on base with that infield hit. So now you're seeing guys starting to produce a little bit more throughout there. And of course, my guy, Mr. Wendell, yeah, making plays out there, man. Not only on the infield, but coming through it with with the big RBIs too. So this team played a complete game today, and that's what we really needed to see. And that shows right there we are here for a reason. Like our man Gio said, this isn't going to be a quick series here. We have a chance now, especially if you got Morton coming in the next two more games in the series yet.
Schoolie.
I think the game was actually more Rays than the score actually shows. I think we controlled this game a lot all the way from the very first inning with Lau hitting that homer to open up the scoring of the game. But it was a total domination, I really thought, by the Rays. And you're going to have these kind of bullpen nights for the Dodgers. The way it's going to shape up, it looks like there'll probably be 2 bullpen nights, and we have to take advantage of those.
7 pitchers, right? Was it 7?
What was that?
7 or 8 pitchers used by them tonight.
Yeah, and you're gonna have that committee again at least one more times during the season, during the series. And the Braves took advantage of those, and those are games we're gonna have to take advantage of. And then we're gonna have to win one more key matchup, like the Morton versus Bueller tomorrow night, and then possible Game 7 if we have Morton again. But they constantly talk about Snell being called Snellzilla, and all this postseason he really hasn't lived up to that hype, that Cy Young hype. This game he actually looked like the old Snell that we were used to.
9 Ks, baby.
Yeah, dealing. He was dealing it for sure.
Well, for 4 innings he was, and then kind of the wheels fell off. But that's okay because it made Cash make that move that he did not make last night.
Well, and see, that's the other thing too, man. Is like where did this kind of come from? Maybe is it because we kind of talked about this last night and needing to representing 98ers here, Ace Out Clothing, Steve's in the house, all of us rocking our 98ers, get our night. What was I saying? Snow, right? We're talking about snow.
Talking about last night.
Yeah. So, is this a strategy to kind of, with this day off in between now and then the next 3 games, to try and save as much bullpen as possible by letting the starting guys with like a little bit longer of a leash, maybe even just 2 or 3 batters? You know what I mean? Because that kept us right in the wheelhouse for the way that they like to use their guys. You know what I mean? Everyone came in basically pitching in a comfortable spot for them tonight, and no one had to do any excessive work. So maybe Snell did go in a little bit long, and he gave up that 2-run homer and kind of put him in a little bit of a difficult situation. But in the end, they got through it, and their pitchers rolled just like they wanted them to. And it looks a lot closer on the scoreboard than it did, like you said, Schoolie. But still, you got to be careful. You can't. That's the one thing about Snell, is that one walk, I would say, was the home run I don't consider really the blemish. It's the walk in front of it that I consider the real blemish on his performance tonight. But other than that, you like to see that. And like I said, our guys are going to be fresh. They had to use 7 guys, even with only 1 day, even with the day's rest. They're still not going to have the rest that the Rays are going to have in the depth that we're going to have in the bullpen. So that's only going to favor us, especially if these guys keep hitting. Not just for home runs, but if they keep hitting for singles and putting the ball in play, it's going to make a big difference going through the series.
I want to go back to something you said, but first I want to hear Mark's take on it.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I was just curious about something, guys. I mean, Snell went 4 2/3. He did have the 9 strikeouts, but he was lifted with 88 pitches. So is that kind of what we can expect? I mean, are we at this point with him looking at maybe getting 5 innings out of him max? Is he no longer going to be a 7 2/3 kind of guy? Or what's your thoughts on this? Or are we going to just be happy if he can get through 5 with a couple of runs against? I mean, I'm just curious because this guy, the former Cy Young Award winner, supposedly the ace of the staff, and it seems like the bullpen's got to come in and bail him out a lot. Not that he didn't pitch okay. I thought he pitched well, but I just want to get your thoughts on whether he can really be counted on as somebody that can go deep into a pivotal game.
See, and this is part of what I wanted to reply to Stash, because we talked about it last night, how it kind of seemed like they let Glasnow fed to the wolves. And I talked about maybe that's why they didn't start Snell last night, was because of the fact that they knew that last night was probably going to be an L. So they start Snell and give him a little bit more in his head on a game against a bullpen on the Dodgers. But Rays baseball, if I'm not wrong, Gio, haven't they been doing those short innings? You know, isn't that the new Rays baseball this season?
Yeah. Well, the problem was COVID.
Yeah.
None of our starters were really ready for the beginning of the regular season. So they were all giving 1, 2, 3, 4 innings to start with. They were all going very low innings, and that's why the stable, had to be really productive throughout the year. Long term, I don't think Blake Snell is a 4 or 5 inning pitcher long term. I just think that this year was weird because of COVID.
I totally agree. I think not only COVID, but also. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah. And somebody, Matt Germain on Twitter, was writing about the percentages that Blake Snell throws. His slider and his curve have changed dramatically. In the year that he won the Cy Young, he threw his slider a lot more, and he doesn't as much anymore. And people are kind of scratching their head why. So, I don't have all the statistical information about that, but it's just his pitch selection is different than it was in 2018. You guys remember 2018? He was automatic.
Yeah.
7 innings, 10 strikeouts, 2 or less runs. And we just haven't gotten that. And I don't know what it is with his pitch selection. I don't know if you guys ever.
I coming off of that injury still and having COVID and not just really being able to get the full swing of another season and having the full season, I think and having these stable of guys willing to being able to fall back on, I think, just kind of get into this role for this season. I think next season, if you get into the situation where you can have a full spring training and everything else, you're going to see Snell going back out there trying to go 6-7 innings easily.
And he's going to get his confidence back.
Right, exactly. And I think that just comes from having a regular routine in your off season, your regular, training camp and everything else. As starting pitchers, I mean, they report before everybody else, you know what I mean? Pitchers and catchers. So they have the longest time getting ready for the season. So I think that's more what it is for Snell than anything else. I think he'll come back next year and he'll be pitching long innings.
Yeah, by the way, I got to talk about this real quick. Loop, I was kind of surprised that it came out for those other 2 batters.
Sure. Yeah, he did got that out.
Cash had faith in him, and Loop deserves a lot of credit for tonight. 3 mammoth outs. Way to go.
His best outing of the postseason so far. If you ask me, that was his best performance of the entire postseason from him.
Yeah, the Bellinger strikeout, that was huge.
Yeah.
And I thought Fairbanks, his first inning looked really good.
Yeah.
That was a 1, 2, 3 inning.
Yep. Did you guys see this graphic? It was kind of like a video graphic that I grabbed a picture of. They showed Snell with his pitches at basically kind of the release point here.
Right.
And then they actually showed the pitches, but I can't capture video. And like, here's where they all end up. I thought that was so cool. Like, just to show all the different pitches that he's throwing and the release points and where it's at. He was on those first 4 innings. And like you guys said, the 98ers were in full form. I think I got the other graphic here. I believe we are now 35-0 when leading after the 7th inning.
Yeah. Well, and I want to bring up another thing too, not to beat a dead horse, man. What a bullshit strike zone again tonight. I mean, not only tight, but inconsistent. You know what I mean? I understand you want hitting, you want offense, you want excitement in the postseason. But hey, call it consistent first and foremost, man. I don't care.
But I thought it benefited us at times, and then at other times it didn't.
And that's how it's been the entire postseason, and that's why I'm bitching about it, because it's not just against us; it's against both teams, and it's been inconsistent. And I think it's affected the way this game has played, and not necessarily the outcome of the series. Luckily, what I've seen between even the Red Sox or the Dodgers and the Braves, us and Ash, it didn't really affect the series too much, but it definitely has had its change in momentum several times in games and in the series. So, man, what I think that was also part two when Snell got there late there in the fifth. It wasn't necessarily that walk, for example, it was 1-1, and if that pitch gets called a strike like it should have been, then it's 1-2, and that's a completely different at bat. But then he falls behind him 2-1, doesn't quite want to challenge him. You can't always be you got to challenge these guys, but you can't always be like, hey, I don't blame you. These guys are crazy to pitch to, so you don't always want to challenge them all the time. So I think that strike zone had a little bit to do with it. I'm not trying to take anything away, like say Snell missed it, got a little bit, tired or whatever there at the end. However, but still, I just want to see a little bit more consistent strike zone because I don't want robots calling strike zones. But if it's going to be like this in the playoffs, then let's do it. As far as I'm concerned, I just want consistency. That's all I care about. Just give me consistency.
Have you guys seen the website that has the umpires grade and they give you a bunch of pitches and how many runs it costs? That's a great thing. And what's weird is a good umpire hits 95% of his calls.
Yeah.
Is a robot 100%? Because if a robot's 100%, I want the robot.
Right.
I think it's pretty close.
And 5% is actually a lot when you really come to think about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So especially in a game of percentages.
Yeah.
Such as baseball.
That's right. What did you guys think of the double pinch run? That was kind of cool.
That was interesting.
That's cool. That's really cool. I love seeing Brett Phillips on the field, man. I love that guy.
I love the commentary for was it Smolty? He's talking. He's like, you look down and make a note in your playbook, and then you look back up, and suddenly you've got two guys on the base pad.
Yeah.
Hey, I can't see that. What's that say?
Long balls only in World Series events.
Nice.
But low.
Balls out loud.
Low, not low.
Yeah.
He says in the pregame introduction. Did you guys catch that tonight? When they're saying their names, he's like, it's low, not low.
Hey, did you guys see the G-Man Choi fan club sign?
Yeah.
Did I? I made that.
Right here?
I made it. I made that sign.
That is a famous sign now.
Right,
the G-Man Choi fan club. Everybody wants in.
Oh, yeah. Brett Morgan of Morgan Auto Group texted me the other day and wanted a sign, and I sell printers. So I made that for free, and then he took it to Texas. He's got a stable sign. He's got I Love KK signs. He's got cash money signs. So let's see the rest of the series if we can get him on. But it's just fun.
Yeah. I feel like we're outnumbered there. I feel like every time they show the stands, it's Dodgers fans. Or how about these guys catching home runs tonight?
You didn't hear the broadcast? They were the pregame. They were totally throwing shade. Whoever the on-field guy, because I only really pay attention to Smolty and then Joe Buck every once in a while when he's talking about necklaces. That's my favorite thing when he talks about during baseball is necklaces. But we'll get to that amazing commentary. But yesterday before the game, he's like, "Oh yeah, there's all kinds of Dodgers jerseys here, probably 9-1 to Rays, and every Rays jersey is pretty much Longoria." I'm like, "Fuck you, dude." That was my immediate reaction. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Like no shit. It's LA, dude. It's LA.
Hey guys, what was better? Guys, what was better, the catch in right field territory, or the guy's T-shirt that he had on who made the catch in right field? Did you guys notice the shirt? It said something like I can't remember what it said on the back, but it was pretty funny.
No, I missed that one.
Yeah, I didn't see it.
What, the guy threw his glove?
No, the other guy, the catch early in the game.
Oh, the first one.
Yeah, I saw the catch, but I didn't see the shirt. I noticed they kept going back to that second guy though, and I was like, "What is this? Your first baseball game, dude?" He catches a home run, and then he throws his glove out onto the field.
Right. I've never.
He should have been thrown out of the stadium. To be honest with you, what the heck is that?
Right, I totally agree. It was funny though, because then he was like, when the Rosarena threw the glove back out to him, he actually made the catch on that too. Like this guy's catching everything out there.
That is just stupid.
Hey, we got Chris calling in. It looks like from his standard, driving position here. Hey, are you winning the race today, Chris?
Our man on the roads.
What's up, guys?
Big
He's
win.
on his way to Texas to cover the World Series for us.
I wish. That would be awesome.
Listen, I did Emily Arena for the Lightning one. Now you have to go over there to Dallas
Only fair,
for
Chris.
this.
Yeah, if I still lived in Kansas, I would, but
We're not in Kansas anymore.
Sorry, Dorothy. Yeah.
basically. But,
All right, well, click your ruby slippers together and bring us back to this game 2. What happened?
hey man, my guy that I've been complaining about all postseason, Lau, is finally connected on his bats. They got the early run, and I really think that gave them confidence at the plate. And they got 10 hits tonight, and most of the time, if you get 10 hits, you're gonna win a baseball game. Along with really good pitching. There was a couple, shaky innings there for Snell and then Fairbanks, but overall the pitching was really good tonight. Good pitching with pretty decent bats, you're gonna win a lot of baseball games, and that's what the Rays have done all year.
And I hate that when we compare, but I mean, we're hockey guys first, most of us. Gio's pure Rays fan first, but the comparisons just between the two teams and the two coaches. I mean, how many people guess John Cooper for all the things he does, and then here we go with Kevin Cash. And we talk about how we don't second guess Cash no more, but you saw all the boo birds about Lau after game 1, and why was he in there, or even the last series. And we talked about get confidence back. He was the MVP of your regular season. You have to have him in there, and then his bat's starting to wake up. And that's all I saw after that home run. The tweets from all your baseball guys talked about how Cash stuck with him even after a shitty postseason, how he stayed with him to get him his confidence back.
Well, I got to give credit to the announce team because, I mean, all the other guys in the other series have been saying, hey, the Rays would love for Lau to get hot here, blah, blah, blah. Joe Buck and John Smoltz say it, and then boom, here he goes. You know what I mean? So they're like, hey, and then boom, he cranks one. And
Joe Buck is like
Chris loves Joe Buck.
No, I can't.
As much as he loves Shooty, he loves Joe Buck.
I love
We're
Shooty
both
though. I
lovable.
just give him a hard time.
But
Joe Buck is like the ultimate like jinx. Because right when he mentioned Blake Snell was throwing a no hitter, Taylor goes yard, and breaks that. So, but I mean, look, it's easy for us to say, hey, don't play loud, don't put him in the lineup, don't do this and don't do that. But we're not there every day. We're not seeing the batting practice. We're not seeing everything else. So,
which is what what Cash mentioned during his in-game interview too, when they went down to him on the field. That's what he was saying. It's like we've seen him at batting practice. We've seen the way he's been hitting. We've seen the way he's been connecting there. And again, man, our guy Jay Retro was tweeting along with this game, and he mentioned what a classy interview that was from Cash, and I totally agree. Mm-hmm. And that at the end of that conversation summed it up perfectly. Whenever Joe says, "Hey, that's a spoken like a true manager," and that 100% is true. This is Kevin Cash's coming out party. If you really ask me, sure, he has been manager of the year and been in that conversation, last few years. But this, to me, just shows the way he's navigated this postseason and continues to figure out how to use his guys in the most advantageous way. Even when I get frustrated with the lineup here or there, or hey, why are you going long here? Why are you going short here with these pitches? But this guy just he figures it out, and these guys buy in, and the results speak for themselves. So. Yeah, Lau did it. Lau made his manager look like a genius because the guy stuck with him, being a player and knowing what it's like from Kevin Cash's point of view. He knows what it's like recently and knows how to get through it. You know what I mean? And he played for some of the good guys in the game too. Think about some of the guys he played for. So
one of the underrated parts about Lau that people don't talk about is he is an above average fielder. So keeping him in the game is going to help your defense. And listen, Adames has had a horrific postseason with the bat. He had a big double tonight, but his glove has made a complete difference in all of these games. Joey Wendell's defense has been absolutely tremendous.
Wendell is
Wendell
the defensive MVP right now.
Yeah, that line
Absolutely.
drive his head off tonight.
Yeah.
Dude,
We
that's
win
gold right
games
there, dude.
because
That's why
we
they call it
pitch
the hot
better and
corner
we
right
play
there.
defense better.
Yeah, no doubt. And I mean, you saw against the last series against Houston when Brosseau came and played second. You know, the defense, it really, you know, he wasn't that great. I like Brosseau more to play. You know, if he's going to fill in on defense, I like him in the outfield or at first base. I don't really like him in that second base. But my whole thing is, I mean, Ray Fangio, you watched it all season. But if Yandy Diaz was healthy, would he be playing third base in the postseason and Wendell back at, you know, him being able to go back to second and in the outfield and so forth?
Okay, luckily for us, the answer is yes. Yandy would probably be batting third. Joey Wendell is 10 times the third baseman that Yandy Diaz is. So I'm glad that it didn't work out that way. And I would keep Yandy at first, you know, platooning with Choi. But Wendell's been unreal. I mean, you can say that Wendell has been, other than a Rosarena, because a Rosarena is he's not human, okay?
Right.
Joey Wendell has been our MVP of the playoffs if it's not a Rosarena. Or Charlie Morton, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
He's definitely up there in the top 3.
But here's my thing is, like, I think Choi, obviously he's a better first baseman than, you know, Brosseau or Yandy, but I don't see how you can't just play Choi every game. Honestly,
We keep talking about this.
We talk about that. Yeah.
Amen, brother. Hey, amen. We
If
have
there's one
all been
thing-
saying that.
If there's one thing we could question Cash on, it's why isn't Choi at first every day? And if you want Yandy in that lineup, he can easily be your DH. I have no understand why Yandy is your go-to everyday DH right now. If you want him in the lineup, you know what I mean. That's where he needs to be, because as much as Wendell is good on the hot corner, we need Choi as the anchor of our infield on first base. Because now those guys feel like they can throw anything over there, and it's not getting by Choi, so they even have that much more confidence on the left side of the infield.
Not even just that. We talked about the excitement that Choi brings into with the rest of the team.
Yeah.
You know, he's not lighting it up by far, but as far as the players, I think he's the players' MVP with him out on that field. You know,
Hey guys, is this a hard 30 minutes?
No.
No.
Okay, good. Because I got some questions about game 3 and 4. Maybe you guys can help me with.
But you know, I think Choi is his players MVP, and with him being on that field, does another spark with the team itself, and not sitting on the bench. And I think that's why it's important to get him in that game. And yeah, keep Yandy at DH.
Yeah.
And Choi was what? He was up 3 times, scored twice, walked once, had the hit. And his hit, by the way, you know, perfect hit against the shift there. So I just don't understand. I guess I don't know enough about the Rays to understand why Choi's not in. Is he more of a defensive liability sometimes because he's been good in the playoffs? He's been good at the bat. I just don't understand the move either.
I mean, the guy's hitting 333 in the postseason right now. I mean, I don't. Or no, that's probably the season. That's the series. But still, I mean, the guy 3 for 2 tonight. I mean, 2 out of 3 tonight. I mean,
it's analytics. It's analytics, guys. It's Kevin Cash's computer.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's too.
Yeah.
Doesn't he usually do it with Choi being lefty versus Yandy being a righty? That probably within the batting order that has something to do with this.
Oh yeah,
so
for sure. They still play lefty righty. They still love to play lefty righty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this is shooter beat me to it. And this you know who this reminds me of? This reminds me of Matt Joyce. You guys remember this? Matt Joyce went through the same situation here in Tampa. The guy was hitting so well against righties. He really should have been our everyday right fielder. But because we faced so many lefties, especially in the AL East, he couldn't get out there every day. And I was like, and he started hitting better against lefties, and they still wouldn't let him go hit because of the overall analytics. And I love this team because sometimes you got to do that when you're a small market team. But as this team starts adding talent like Lau, and you've got KK now, and you got some of these other guys. I mean, not necessarily KK, but like Choi, Rosarina, you're gonna kind of have to start changing a little bit how much you rely on metrics and analytics, and just start trusting the athleticism of the guys you have in your position to go out there and make plays every day. You know what I mean? Like, you're gonna have to start balancing that a little bit as you build this talent, because some of these guys I don't think are going anywhere now. You know what I mean? Like, some of the talent's been kind of on a carousel, a revolving door here. But Lau's here for a while. KK doesn't seem like he really isn't going anywhere. He's got a decent contract. So like, some of these guys, Ray's Reynolds on a rookie. There's situations where some of these guys can be here for the next 3 or 4 years at least. So maybe you got to change just a little bit. Not everything, obviously, but just a little bit. Maybe Snell comes back and go a little bit longer next season, so you don't have to run the stable the same way. Maybe these guys can be a little bit more consistent against lefty and righty hitting, so you don't have to always tinker, but you still have the flexibility that you have this season. So, yeah, boom, there you go. Let's talk about this. We haven't talked about this yet. 28 home runs is supposed to be for the Rays, breaking the record. And breaking a tie for the record for the most.
Doesn't seem like it. I guess it kind of does, but that's a lot.
It doesn't seem. Every run's come off a home run almost.
It's not the Yankees, Mark. You're just not used to seeing anyone else play. Mark is our unbiased
sorry
contributor here. But yeah, so what about next game? I know, Gio, you had some questions on next game. We got Charlie Morton, so you got to feel good going into game 3
against Buehler.
Well, Walker Buehler is the Dodgers' best starting pitcher, which kind of blows you away because we all assumed it's Clayton Kershaw, but he's not.
No.
So game 3 is the most pivotal game I can ever remember, where if you're the Dodgers and you can win game 3, you're in control. If you're the Rays and you can win game 3, you're in control. And we want Charlie Morton on the mound. I mean, game 7, he is 4-0 with a 0.46 ERA. In a game 7 situation. And, game 3 is not a game 7, but he is the person you want on the mound. Also, I'm going to be begging on the radio for Kevin Cash to re-sign Charlie Morton. He's got a 1-year option for $15 million. He's pitching this well. Why wouldn't you bring him back? But my question for you guys is, who's the Dodgers game 4 starter? Because we're going to go bullpen. Do they have some guy named Arias? I don't know the Dodgers that well. Who's their other starter?
Arias. Yeah, we were talking about that last night.
Yeah.
Is he good? I mean, I don't know anything about him.
Here's my question. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Marky.
No, you're good. No, I would say he is good. He's a very good pitcher, but I was looking at something else. I wanted to pivot off that. Is Morton by far now, as a Rays fan, is he essentially like your number one guy that you'd want on the mound in any must-win situation, or by far?
Yes.
Close?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, which I
Yes.
think is funny, as Gio was saying, this, Buehler has ended up being their best guy going in game 3, and now it just turns out that our best guy now is going in game 3. So it does set this up. If this becomes a 7-game series, this could be it. Like, these two guys can come up matching up against each other twice, and we could see a real fantastic matchup. And these two guys facing off pretty much, like saying, sets the tone now going forward. Obviously tied at 1. Game 3 is super big, but man, we're going to be looking at some really good pitching tomorrow, I think.
If you go lower, you got some averages against Buehler for the Rays, but
Buehler.
Urias is basically their 1B to Buehler. He has not lost in the postseason yet, and they tend to hit good when he's on the mound. So it's going to be interesting to get these next 2 games. If you can get one of the next 2, I think the Rays can have this series. I don't think you have to beat Buehler tomorrow, but you will have to beat Urias on Game 4. You have to beat one of them if you're going to end up taking the series.
And now the
Yeah.
Rays are the home team, right? For the next 3
Yeah.
games.
We have
Yeah.
last 3 games.
So last at bat. I like this website, how they have the long book about Bueller and then Charlie Morton. They just got his numbers up there. There's no explanation needed. 3-0,
That's all you need to know.
0.57 ERA, 17 strikeouts. Nothing else needs to be said about this man.
The exact
Clutch.
definition of no introduction needed, right? No introduction needed. So Steve Adler, he's asking about how long do you think Morton's going to go? I think 90 is probably his ceiling tomorrow, or the day after tomorrow.
Yeah, I think so.
I think
Yeah.
after
I
game
don't
one,
even know if 90.
yeah, they're going to stick to the plan that got him here, especially after that game one where they left Glasnow in. So I'd expect maybe 5, hopefully.
5
Let the
pitches.
bullpen doing their thing. 5 pitches.
Which was
5 pitches.
which was still odd because you get rest days, so I don't feel like if you don't want to go to the bullpen, I understand if it's 7 games straight like the Astros, but you're gonna have 2 off days in this series.
Yeah,
So it
but
doesn't really. Go
I
ahead.
think you want to kind of the last 2 series were super rough. You didn't have a lot of days off, so if you can have any extra rest for that bullpen right now in the front end of the series, you got to take it. So, I don't necessarily agree 100% with Schooley saying, "Oh, Kevin Cash expected a loss," and he kind of went in coaching expecting to lose, or managing expecting to lose. But I do think that in that situation, you definitely just got to kind of ride him out a little bit and see where he goes, so you don't burn through your bullpen in that first game. So I think that might have more to do than anything with that 100+ pitches from Glasnow. Morton tomorrow, 80, 90. Yeah, somewhere between there, maybe 85 probably, depending on the scenario, 85 max.
Hey, were you guys freaking out when Charlie Morton was pitching Game 7 and they took him out when they took him out?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. We had some discussion after.
For reasons, though, as a classic baseball fan, I just wanted to see the guy keep going because he was dealing so well. It wasn't like I questioned the strategy of Kevin Cash. Like, that's what you do. That's what you do. That's fine. But for me, it was like, man, I'm an old school guy. And that guy was dealing in the postseason. You just kind of, I think, no matter what your strategy is, you go and let your horse do his job. If you want to talk about having a stable full of guys, go let that horse pull his weight today. You know what I mean? That's your big draft today. Let him go plow some fields.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying earlier. Like, I don't know about any of these guys are going to pitch 7, 8 innings anymore. I mean, even if they're cruising, it's just not the way the game is played anymore. So I think if they can get 6 innings out of Morton tomorrow, and even if he throws 100 pitches, and I think they'll be overjoyed with that. On a run or 2 and you're good. But the days of these guys going, you're not going to see any more Jack Morris going 10 innings in a World Series Game 7. Those days are long gone. So
for sure.
Even look at the Dodgers, 4 pitchers in 4 innings. That's never happened before in the World Series.
Right.
Yeah.
So the game is changing. I was like, man, how many pitchers do they have? Are they just going to keep switching pitchers
The A's
until they find one?
90, but I don't think the A's did it in 1990 for good reasons. Like, I'm pretty sure it's because they collapsed in that game and they were just trying to get anybody to the mound. If I remember, I mean, I was 10 years old, but I do remember I was kind of an A's fan back then. I didn't really have a team.
Who wasn't, man? The Bash Brothers?
Yeah, right. Freaking Ricky was my guy.
Ricky Anderson.
Back when they used to steal bases.
Yeah, and Dennis.
Who did you guys root for in baseball before the Rays?
Braves.
Well, like I said, yeah, I kind of grew up early on, just being a baseball fan. So the A's were good, being born in 80. But then Nolan Ryan became the frickin' Express. And so the Astros, and then especially the Rangers, when he was on the Rangers in the late 80s and early 90s, that was kind of my team. Until the Braves, I grew up going up to South Georgia and Atlanta in the summer. So we'd go see a lot of baseball games up there. So that pitching stable that they had, Jeff Blauser in the infield, I remember he was always one of my favorite guys growing up. And then I kind of bounced around a little bit too. White Sox, I loved Frank Thomas and Jack McDowell. And then, I moved here, and it was pretty much right away from 2000. I was a Rays fan.
No Yankee fan in there? You never a Yankee fan at any point?
Listen, I'm already a Cowboy.
I am still.
I could be a Yankees fan too.
I know.
I gotta take 30 seconds to tell you the story. 1982, I went to see my uncle in St. Louis, Missouri, and it's about the 8th inning and 1982, and he's getting in an argument with his wife because his wife wants to leave. And he goes, listen, we are not leaving this game. We are not leaving this game until the final pitch. And I said, Uncle John, why are we not leaving? He goes, because that guy at shortstop is going to make a play in the 9th inning, and I want to be here for it. And when you know, Ozzie Smith made one of his patented plays in like short left field, threw the guy out of first base. Unbelievable play. I've been a Cardinal fan my whole life. And being a Cardinal fan and Ray fan is very similar in the fact that way that you play the game. And you got to have very good defense, good pitching. So it was easy to make the transition in 2004 when I moved to Tampa. And I'm not, if the Cardinals play the Rays right now, I'm rooting for the Rays. I've completely converted because of my kids too. But just fun being a Cardinal fan growing up.
And that's cool. Just to piggyback real quick, because my very first game I ever went to in Major League Baseball in 1987 was at Old Busch Stadium. A guy that my dad went to high school with. I can't remember his name, but he played for the Cardinals, and he ended up coming in as a pinch runner and stole home in that game. So my very first baseball game.
Glenn Brummer?
I can't remember. I'd have to ask my dad.
If he was a catcher, his name is Glenn Brummer, Brummer.
But yeah, but that was my first. We went to the Gateway Arch, but that was my first memory of baseball. Was we were on the mid-level terrace level kind of, and horrible baseball stadium, by the way. Yeah, but it was my first experience, and I'll never.
The new one's nice.
Stadium, you know what I mean?
Oh, the new one's is a cathedral. I've been to 29 of the 30 major league franchises stadiums. I've been to 59 complete stadiums. The only stadium I need to go for the franchise is Colorado Rockies. So,
well, it's funny because my brother-in-law just hopped in here, and he's a Rockies fan.
Nice.
So that's Coors Field, man. That's one of the fields I've been to. I've been to a lot of the classic ones, and that's one of the only new ones I've been to. And man, what a gorgeous stadium! Coors Field is just absolutely beautiful.
You don't know what it's like not to have baseball. Gio, you don't know. Mark, you're a Yankees fan, so you wouldn't know what to not have baseball because they've been around forever. Stash has had the teams. Shooter, what did you have before Rays? Anything?
I actually grew up watching Baltimore Orioles in Cal Ripken's prime.
Nice.
Going to Camden Yards when it was first built.
Nice.
So,
that's awesome.
What about you, Chris?
What about you, Chris?
Oh, I muted Chris because he's got like Beyonce on in the background or something. There you go, Chris.
Oh, yeah, I was only I think 8 years old when the Rays franchise came up, so I didn't really. The Rays are really the only thing I know.
See, that's the thing.
The way bogs.
So that's when we bring our local high schoolers on our show.
We had talked about this before, Gio. Like I was born in Jersey, but I was raised down here since I was 2. So down here in Tampa, before we got the Rays, the only thing we got to see down here was the Braves. Or you had to watch WGN, and you'd see the White Sox and the Cubs. So it was either TBS and the Braves or the White Sox and the Cubs. So I was a huge Braves fan. And then
Dale Murphy.
Yeah, then they said that the White Sox were coming here to Tampa, and then we talked about this. They got a new stadium. Then the Giants were coming here to Tampa, and they got a new stadium. And then all of a sudden, we got the Rays, so it was like, well, great. They're an American League team. The Braves were a National League team. So those are my 2 favorites.
Tampa was always like the mistress for those other teams that needed a new stadium. You can thank Tampa Bay that every other city has a pretty new baseball stadium. Meanwhile, the ironic part is we're stuck down here with the Trop that nobody wants to play at.
Oh gosh, he's got the Expo.
My shirt.
The Tampa Bay Expo shirt.
Yeah, there you go.
X.
Yeah, no.
I am so anti-Montreal.
Yeah,
I think everybody here is.
Hey, listen.
Hey,
there's a market that was ever worse than Tampa. It was Montreal. Like, let's be honest, that's like probably the worst baseball market in the history of Major League
Did
Baseball.
you ever go to that the old Olympic Stadium? Did you ever go to that watch the Expos play? I did one year.
I never got up.
It's horrendous. It's horrendous.
I've been there. It was horrible.
Yeah.
I feel like it's going the same feeling as going to a game of the Trop. It doesn't feel like going to a baseball.
It's very similar, actually. Yeah. Very similar. No atmosphere.
Yeah.
No.
All right. Well, we're looking forward to Game 3 here, right, guys? I mean, after last night, we were trying to be positive on last night's show, but it was a little tough the way the Dodgers came out and kind of hit us with the right hook and stunned us. But we definitely answered back with our own second round here, and I think we're looking good going into our pitching matchup tomorrow. And again, like I said, if our guys
Not tomorrow. We have a day off.
Yeah,
next day.
we will not be live tomorrow.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, Friday.
Okay, it's 12:46. It is tomorrow.
That's true. We will be live tomorrow.
Not in Texas, it ain't.
That's true.
Whatever. We're here.
Hey guys, thanks for the invite. It's fun. You guys know your stuff, man. You guys know your stuff.
We appreciate it for sure. Well, yeah. So hey, we're looking forward to tomorrow, right? I believe we all are. We can't wait for Morton to get up there, and start dealing. Like I said, if these guys can start hitting for average instead of just for power, this could be a much more interesting series than anyone thought. Everyone's just saying that Rays can only hit home runs. If we can start out there and start stringing some hits together and put some pressure on their pitchers, not just only through long ball, I think we have a really good chance to maybe shorten the series in our favor.
Man, if Morton ever gets hit, like let's say he comes in and gets shelled. I don't know. Not that this would happen. Then what do you do?
Tropicana will burn down.
I come to your house.
Not going to happen.
I have a certain particular set of skills.
Listen, things can happen. What if he gives up 5 in the first on Friday or tomorrow, whatever the hell day it is? Then what? Then what do we do?
We got a stable of guys that can throw 98 miles an hour.
Just in, Mark will not be on the show.
Period.
Game 3.
I got a question.
Let's come on.
Well,
Hey guys, anybody's in the area? I'm going to Ferg's on Saturday night for Game 4. If you want to come out and have a couple pops.
Yeah, nice. I like it.
There you go. Have a couple pops. Hear these stories from Rays fan Gio. You might get some lottery ticket numbers from him or something.
Or get famous yourself for 15 minutes just by being near him.
All right, Chris,
we're hoping for, to be honest, 100%. 100%.
What's your question, Chris? Because I want to go to sleep.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you guys had addressed this because I missed the first part of your show. But, I mean, we've seen it a few times just in the postseason, but in the regular season as well. They do all that work to get Margot to third just to get him thrown out at home. What?
Oh, God.
I just don't understand the process of, like,
run on contact. They wanted
a weekly hit ground ball.
Analytics.
As soon as you hear that crack of the ball at bat, you got to go because Cash was trying to be aggressive tonight, try to get as many runs as he could.
I'm not a huge fan of it because, again, I'm an old school guy, but at the same time, that's the way they play. And that's what got him here. So you just kind of got to deal with it here and there. The percentages say that it gets them more runs than it costs them. So, and just real quick, I didn't get to talk about this earlier. I don't wanted to say this because I have been a Rays fan for a long time. And I grew up listening to baseball on the radio more than anything else. I'm still kind of from that generation. I happened to be down in St. Pete this afternoon with some friends down at one of our fine local craft breweries. So I was listening to the radio on the way back up, and I got a chance for the first time in years to listen to Dave Wills and Andy Freed call some baseball. Man, talk about getting the feels. Like I forget how much I love listening to baseball on the radio. No other sport works on the radio, but baseball, there's just something about it. And hearing two guys that have the rapport and the understanding of each other that these two guys, it's like to use a baseball analogy, it's like that old comfortable mitt that you haven't put on for years, and then you find it laying in the back of your closet, like, oh man, I'm just gonna, and you put it in, it just feels like you never ever took it off. It was really cool to listen to them, but I'm really pissed at 95.3 because as soon as I hit the Pasco County line, I fucking lost them. And I had this listening to ESPN, and I tried to listen to 95.3 on ESPN or on their app, and then it gave me the ESPN feed instead of the local feed.
620 WDAE.
Well, and even the 620, I went to AM because again, old school, and I didn't even get 620 up here. So I guess I just looked too far away.
Yeah, the 95.3 signal's not very strong at all.
Anyways, it was nice for the first 2 or 3 innings that I got to hear those guys call ball. It was really, really cool. So
I only listen to the radio for all the postseason games. So
awesome.
I don't listen to any of the guys on any of the stations. I just listen to 620.
So you didn't hear anything about Snell's necklace tonight?
Nope, I heard nothing.
Lucky
Nothing.
you.
Oh wait, when the necklaces were a big fucking deal too, like wasn't like Balfour the one that was always messing with? They had like those braided necklaces they had. Balfour was always up there fucking around with his necklace all the fucking time. All of them, Shieldsy too was doing it. Like they were. I'm like, dude, you guys. I think we all like social media wasn't what it is today, but even back then, like the MySpace era, we were so like, what the hell are you doing? Leave your damn necklaces alone.
You're not in my top 8 no more.
Right.
Hey, guys, real quick, I want to ask one quick question because I need to know how you feel about this because I like you guys all so far. We don't have any anti-bunt people, do we?
No, not
Bunt?
No.
No, we love a good bunt.
Okay, good because some of these these freaky computer nerds that say that you should never ever bunt just freak me out.
We talked about this.
They make me mad.
Yeah, we talked about this in the past, last couple of nights actually, about putting pressure on the defense and moving runners along and stealing bases and making them make plays and all the things that teams don't do anymore. Which, when you see them, you're like, wow, that's what baseball used to be like, and now it's just standing there waiting for a home run all the time. So, yeah, no, for sure, man, for sure. We I think a lot of us are pro bunt. I don't want to speak for everybody on this call, but for me, yeah, when it makes sense, when you have somebody on second with nobody out, you got to bump the guy to third, score a run on an out. It just makes sense. Anyway,
the more you
okay
on pitching matchups too, the more I think bunt can be valuable because that's another batter they have to face. You know what I mean? Or more pitches, even if it creates an out in the long run or whatever. Like I still like the opportunity to put more pressure, like you said, on the thing and make them face more bad in a matchup world that we're now in. We've been talking about pitching wise.
I just want to see someone bunt it down
guys.
the third baseline. When they got that shift on,
exactly.
lay it down right down third baseline. Keep them honest.
That the one time, and it was like that pop fly bunt, but still was the shift was so severe he still was able to not make it out.
Yeah, they did. They did it that one time.
Yeah, if I was if I see that shift with Lau, I would do that. I mean, it's almost. I mean, if he lays it down right, he's going to be on there 9.9 times out of 10. So
a bunch of them, yeah. I'm hoping Lau's starting to heat up. So let's do this. Let's go around the horn one more time. Some last comments. I'd like to get a prediction, at least from Gio here on Game 3. Like, give me a score so we can have this on tape here. One of your famous predictions. I'm going to go with. I think Lau's going to start heating it up. And it's all over. It's all over for LA if that happens. And then I just want to point out, like, you guys have to understand here, and I hate these maps because you always see these maps come out, especially like this time of year, like what state has what's the favorite candy of Florida? And it's like, it's a Tootsie Roll. And it's like, no, it's not a Tootsie Roll. Who did this? But I thought this one was pretty accurate because it is kind of split right down the heartland here. I mean, we're representing the whole East Coast here, so we've got to get it done according to the analytics we're looking at here, geotag, Twitter data, and fan hashtags. So we got to get it done for the East Coast. Stash, what do you think is going to happen tomorrow? We'll go around.
Man, I think we're going to see some really good pitching tomorrow. But I think the Rays are locked in right now with that timely hitting, and not necessarily the timely hitting, but just putting the ball in play. So I see hopefully 5-3, 6-3, similar to today, maybe 6-4, another tight game. kind of, but with the Rays pretty much dominating and dictating the pace.
Mark.
I think the Dodgers come up, win tomorrow. Probably 5-3, 5-4, like that.
How dare you?
That's why we love you being the realist. How dare you? Again, I just want to let everybody know Mark will not be here for game 3.
I'm trying not to be a homer. I think it's going to be a low-scoring game. I think it's going to be one of the typical Tampa Bay ones. It's going to be a 2-1 game. I think maybe Tampa gets it. Bueller doesn't give it up much, and Morton doesn't give up much. So I think it's going to be a dueling matchup with pitchers. I say 2-1 Tampa.
We will accept that. Gio, what's going to happen Thursday night in Arlington?
The only one that matters.
Friday night.
Friday night.
Whatever.
Rays win 3-2. Rays win 3-2, and all 3 runs are set up by sacrifice bunts to piss off the computer nerds.
There you go. I like it.
All right, Chris, without crashing your car, tell us.
Yeah, I'm gonna say 4-2 Rays. I think, like you guys said, it's gonna be a pitcher's duel, and I think the Rays have the better bullpen, and I think that's what it's gonna come down to in this game. So I'll say Rays 4-2. A-Roz with the 3-run bomb, and yeah, the Rays will go up 2-1 in the series.
I like it. You're welcome to call back in anytime, sir. All right, so let's wrap this puppy up. Rays fan Gio, we appreciate you jumping on the show. We know that you are a busy man after these Rays games and during Rays games, but we definitely always need more fans like you. So we appreciate you kind of spreading the fandom amongst Twitter and in the world. I mean, you're on Bay News 9 doing it, man. I see you. So we appreciate you coming on, man. You're welcome to jump on anytime.
Y'all need to invite Andrew Katzman from Twitter.
Yep.
Yeah, I know him.
Andrew Katzman from Twitter. He is the most passionate, most knowledgeable baseball fan for the Rays I've ever met. And he's funny and he'll swear a lot. So you guys need to invite him. You guys need to invite him. He's a great guy.
Shooter stash material, it sounds like to me.
All right, cool. That works. All right, well, huge win. Game 2 of the World Series. Rays bounce back and take this one. They looked great in the process, but we're going to wrap it up. We're going to take a day off and bring it back Friday night. That means I'm going to have a couple cocktails. The rest of the guys might have a couple cocktails. You know, weekend shows are always a little bit more fun.
Just a couple.
Just have the same.
All right, well, we'll wrap it up. This has been the 98ers. Raise up. Go Rays.